I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, justice. Meet your neighbor.
Hearing about your just goes back to what we were about. Try that.
Today's reflection will be offered by Doug Druschel.
Okay, this isn't really a prayer, but it'll be kind of fun, I hope. If not, too bad. Have you ever wondered what your college's motto really means? Like Northwestern University, my alma mater, is Greek, quae fiuque sunt vera. In English, whatsoever things are true, from Philippians. Harvard is simple, veritas, Latin for truth. Rollins College and the University of Virginia are both fiat lux, Latin for let there be light. Yale is lux and veritas, light and truth. Apparently they had to do Harvard. Ohio State, discipline in civitatem, which is Latin for education and citizenship. Makes sense for a land-grant university. The College of Wooster, I'm sure a bunch of people here know what it is. The shortened version is ex nuno fonte, but that's shortened from Sanctae Religio ex nuno fonte, which roughly translates from the Latin science and religion from one source. So the next time you see the College of Wooster emblem and you see ex nuno fonte on it, now you know what it means. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Welcome, Rotarians. Today's Rotary member highlight. I think most of you will probably recognize this particular Rotary member. He is the finance director for the CFA-ES at the Ohio State University, the Wooster campus, college, food, agricultural, environmental service, I believe that is. Sciences. Okay. I know, but I still remember it as the experiment station, which tells you how old I am. Okay, he has been in the Wooster Rotary Club for over 17 years, serves on multiple committees, and is a past president. During his presidential year, he was known for attending a Rotary International Convention that was held in the most exotic location in the world. He resides in Worcester with his spouse, Marla, 2 children, Ben and Lexi. Oh, by the way, the most exotic place in the world. It was during COVID, and the most exotic location turned out to be, I believe it was his attic or his basement. Anyway, this Rotarian used to be a member of a hot air balloon team. And this week's member highlight is Terry Snoddy. Okay, I will turn it over to Lynn for the Secretary's report.
Thank you, President Tom. We get to start this meeting with welcoming a new member. It's always a good day at Rotary. We'd like to ask Jeff Durland to come forward. Jeff is with PNC Bank. He is a relationship manager for corporate banking, and he is sponsored by DVidian. And we will get the badge next week. So welcome. And we have a number of guests today, so we'll start introductions from the podium. Kathy McConnell.
We've got a number of folks here who are interested in youth exchange and have been participating in youth exchange in a variety of levels. So I'm going to start introducing by tables here. Back here, the Relly family. You would stand up. We've got Rachel, Emmett, and Caden, and they will be hosting our incoming inbound retiree from Ecuador. Thank you very much. And over at this table, we have the Webb family. We've got 4 of the 5 members. We've got Brian, Becky, Lily, and Ian, and they will be hosting Hannah in just a few weeks. So thank you very much for coming. And also at this table, we have Linda Michelle, whose son Hayden was in Japan in the 22-23 academic year. And she also, I guess she's a triple award winner, because not only did she send her son, but she hosted Izumi and Sujit at the same time. And if anybody had Izumi over their house, they know how much he ate, how much he had to work on getting that kid fed. He ate everything. Thank you very much. And over at this table, we have representatives from our speakers family. Jenny and Ben, you want to stand up? We've got Jenny Ribicki and Ben Ribicki, mother and brother, and also youngest brother, Hunter, of our speaker, Robert Ribicki, and they have just welcomed him back from his year in Japan. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much to our host families. They're just such a critical part of our Rotary year. We have a few more guests. Nicole Williams has a guest.
I'm Monica Press. She's with Children's Services. She's the new executive director.
Thank you. And I have a guest, Taylor Stockmaster. She's an account executive with Lynn Media, and she's a past member of Fremont Rotary. So welcome. One announcement, if you have not been getting Rotary emails, how do you know if you haven't been getting emails, if you're not getting emails? If you haven't seen anything recently about youth exchange, we've had a very nice email go out to the club. We've also had new member notifications. So if you haven't seen any of those, if you could let me know. We've had several members report that they're not getting those notifications, and we want to get that resolved. So thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Okay, at this time, I will turn it back over to Kathy McConnell.
So it's my great pleasure today to not only introduce host families and prospective outbound students and families of return students, but also to share a little bit with the club about youth exchange, why we do it, and what some of our involvement has been. So the mission of Rotary Youth Exchange is to build peace one young person at a time. And of course, that sounds very lofty. But as I will give you some examples of just how much impact this program has, and even a little bit of a view into what it has meant to students who participated even 5 and 10 years out, we can see that this can have a very great impact. So, you know, the purpose of the program is to instill understanding and goodwill. But it also creates a lot of positive change by empowering students. And I think everybody who's had a student go out will tell you that they have come back much more mature and kind of settled in the world. And then obviously this is an opportunity to make lasting connections, not only for our club and host families, but in the community and of course for the students who are involved. So here's just an idea of some of the impact of exchange. So I've been using this quote from Erin Faith. She went to Brazil, I think about 10 years ago. And I think she sums it up for many of our returned students when she says that exchange is one of the hardest things that she'd ever done, but it was also one of the best. And I think most students who've gone on exchange can really relate to that. You may remember some of these other two students, Marcelo and Facundo. So just this past winter, we got a nice letter from Marcelo. He says, thank you for teaching me the English skills. He said it makes his skills just pale in comparison to his fellow students. And he says, thank you for opening my mind and heart to differences and letting me see those as beautiful and amazing instead of strange or weird. And not too long ago, actually when we were all probably getting the Daily Record, Facundo wrote a wonderful letter to the Daily Record. It was actually quite long, but his quote says, I've been lucky enough to travel to over 20 countries and have already made it back to Worcester 3 times after my exchange. And I've got a secret to tell you. Is Worcester small? Perhaps, but it's also such a friendly and vibrant town. A town that has it all: beautiful parks, beautiful buildings, and beautiful people who always help one another. So if a student can say that after 10 years, you can see what an impact the program has had on them. And that is all thanks to the members of our club, our wider community with the school, activities they're involved in, and of course, the host families that host them. So if you're wondering how you can participate in exchange, there's so many different levels. I mean, for Rotary, for us here on a weekly level, inviting the students just to sit with you at your table and just asking them, how are things going? What are you interested in? What do you like to do? What's school like? We're always looking to recruit outbound applicants and to recruit host families. In fact, I think I've got another nagging little piece of paper on your table for this week. If you can think of anyone besides these folks who have already signed up to be host families who would be willing to host our next 2 series for Hannah and Viteri, please let me know. Even if the discussion is, no, I can't do it, or no, not this year, that's fine. At least we're getting the word out about exchange. And, our students are always involved in many activities, and thanks to Terry, we get a lot of transportation needs scheduled, but we always need folks to drive them from the high school to Rotary and then to their various activities. So helping out in those ways can be really beneficial. So you may want to know, where do our outbound students go? We know that Robert has just come back from Japan, and you may want to know where our inbounds are from. And I've actually given these Excel spreadsheets to our historian, Ray Lively. We are almost even, Steven. We've been in the program almost 60 years, since 1966. And we were about 120 outbounds and 120 inbounds. So anyone want to hazard a guess where the largest number of outbounds have gone? Anybody? Where?
Brazil.
Brazil. It is in South America, Chile, okay, with Brazil in close second. And this is only, the ones that have gone most frequently. We also have things like Slovakia and lots of other different countries on here. So if you're interested in, where are the range of possibilities that students can go, I've got it on the spreadsheet. How about on the inbound side? Anybody want to guess where we receive the most students? Which country? Greg's saying Japan, that's up there, but it's Brazil. Yeah, 13 from Brazil. Way back, we had quite a few from Sweden, as well as quite a few from Finland as well. So most of these others are recent countries, although this year we've got somebody coming in from Uganda and someone coming in from Ecuador. So with that little preview, just want to say that the exchange program has been an important part of Wooster Rotary for a long time. And today, in addition to us getting to hear Robert, we've also got representatives of folks who have sent students. We've got folks who have hosted students both recently and in the past. And so after Robert speaks, if you've got any questions about his experience or what it's like to send your child off or your grandchild off, or what it's like to host, we certainly would be open to having those questions too. And with that, I'm going to turn things over to Robert. Robert has just come back from Japan. He'll tell you exactly where. Robert is a homeschool student. He lives in West Salem, and he's here today with his mother and his younger brother, who may be interested in exchange. We first met Robert when he was a mere 14 years old and was interested in exchange. So this is something that has been percolating for quite a while, even stuck through it through COVID interests and all that. So with that, I'm going to let Robert come up to the podium and give his talk. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Robert Ibicki. I went to Japan for a year. I went to Mambetsu, a city called Mambetsu in the prefecture of Hokkaido. You can kind of see up on the bottom left, kind of a map of where I went. You can see the prefecture there, it's colored in red. It's all the way up north, actually. And it's a smaller city. The population is about 20,000. It's right on the ocean there. And the fishing boats, we had fishing boats in and out of that port there. It was really nice, but it was a really pretty city. Hokkaido is one of the coldest prefectures in Japan. It's well known for its winters. In the city where I lived, we had drift ice. You can see the drift ice. I would always go skiing after school. I loved skiing a lot. And you could always see the drift ice from up on the ski hill. In the bottom left, you can see they had ice boat, or bottom right. And up in the top right, you can see I went to Sapporo for the Yuki Matsuri. And Yuki Matsuri means snow festival. And that was really cool. We got to see like snow sculptures and ice sculptures. And it was really pretty. I ended up staying with 3 different host families, all of which were absolutely fantastic. I adored all of them very much. We would always play badminton and like watch TV together. We'd always hang out. I think that's great that I got to hang out with them so much because it really helped my language acquisition quite a lot, I feel. But they were always there to help me and try to help me with like my grammar and help me try to communicate. The language is actually pretty hard in my opinion. We have 3 different writing dialects. So we have the hiragana, the katakana, and the kanji. And the hiragana is like the basic alphabet, and the katakana is normally just for like English Japanese words. And then the kanji, there's about 50,000 of those, and they each mean something different. They each mean their own word. But it was really nice. And I would say my relationship with my host families was very similar in that to with my real families, actually. So my school life. I didn't do great in school because the language, of course, but it was really fun because I always got to hang out with all my friends. And in Japan, they don't really move classrooms that much. So the teachers normally come to the classrooms and will just stay in the homeroom there. So I always got to sit with all my friends and we'd always eat lunch together. But almost every day I would go to badminton after school. We would either, because that's part of the badminton club, we would either go to the gym that they had there, or they had a sports center right across the street, which was really fun. All of my classmates and me got to go on a school trip together. We went to Kyoto, Osaka, and Nara all together. We got to pick groups. I picked a group with 4 of my friends, and we kind of got to explore each place a little bit as groups. We went to see some temples, eat some interesting foods, and you can see Mount Fuji. I'd seen that from the Shinkansen, which is like their bullet train. Unfortunately, we didn't get to really stop and see it up close. We kind of just drove right past it, but it was really cool. And we also went to Nara Park, and that's where the deer are. You get to pet the deer and feed them, and it turns out they're not really afraid of you if it means getting some food. They attack pretty well. Before I left, we had the Yosakoi Matsuri, which means dance festival. Me and my friends, we got to dance in front of a pretty great number of people there. I'm not a very great dancer, so I kind of feel bad for all the people that had helped me learn to dance. We spent a few hours every day for like a week or two leading up to that, just trying to get ready for the dance and stuff. But we all had lots of fun. It was great. And then the day after the dance, so all the parents and stuff, they came to watch us dance. And the day after all of our classes, we set up food stands. So we got to have some free food and give out some food, which was really cool. But I have a video of me dancing of me in my class. It's not like I said, I'm not a very great dancer, but without further ado here, we'll get that going. Oh, I forgot there's no internet. Well, right? No, oh, maybe it'll load, please. That'd be pretty nice if it did. Maybe we can get it going here. I don't know why the mouse is moving itself here. Maybe not. Okay. But you can kind of see I'm in the back. I think it's left for you guys. Right? But we got to dance all together. It was really neat. We did the dance a couple times, I think. We did it at the school, and then we went out to do it for other people as well. But our class picked like a traditional Japanese dance, which was really fun. And that was really awesome. I really enjoyed that quite a lot. So school structure, I want to briefly touch on school structure and kind of what my day-to-day looked like. Elementary school is 6 years, junior high school or middle school is 3, and then high school is 3 years. Our homeroom normally started around 8:35, which was really nice. I had to sleep in a little bit. And our first class started around 8:50. And that ended around 9:40. We'd have 10 minutes in between to kind of mess around, really. I don't know. We played together in the 10-minute break there. I would always like tackle my friends and stuff. It was really great. But and then in the bottom right, you can see kind of what my desk setup looked like. They gave us school iPads. So I had my iPad and I bought me a mouse and I had some tissues and then the school papers and stuff for doing schoolwork. But in Japanese schools, there's no janitors. The kids, they all clean up after school. So after school, you would stay and all the kids would clean up their classroom, and then they would go and split up the school to clean up. My relationship with Rotary Japan, every Friday at 11:40, someone would pick me up from the school and I'd eat lunch with the entire Rotary Club. I really liked that quite a lot because I got to kind of hang out with everybody, meet everybody a lot. On occasion, I'd do a small speech. They took really great care of me and I got along with everyone really well. I was the only exchange student in my district, which is kind of odd. It doesn't happen very often, I suppose. But I think it helped me a lot because I got to make better friends with the native Japanese people and the people, they speak the language, of course. So I got to learn the language a little better. And then there was a huge meeting in Tokyo where all the exchange students in Japan, they kind of meeted up in Tokyo there. And I hung out with all of them, we partied a little bit, and then they kind of split us up into groups based on where we were from. So I was put with all the other American kids. And we were going to do like a little talent show thing for everybody to kind of watch and enjoy. And we ended up doing the YMCA, and I have a short video of that as well. And once again, I'm not a critic. And then that will load as well. I was wearing like the kimono for like they have like the cosplays and stuff there. So I was wearing that kind of last. But yeah, that was kind of my presentation about my time as a Japanese exchange student. I can't thank Rotary and my host family enough. I couldn't have done it without any of them. I had a really amazing year. I had just the best time, honestly, and I can't wait to maybe go back there someday. But I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I have two questions. How long did it take you to feel conversational, confident speaking Japanese? The second question is, what was your general impression of how, at least the Japanese in your area, thought about Americans, American culture?
So to answer the first question, I can understand Japanese fairly well. I do have a little bit of a harder time speaking it because you have to pull all the words together and grammar. But to actually start understanding it, it took me about 3 months. And then to speak it a little bit, it took me a little longer, maybe 5 or 6 months. And I asked around a lot, actually, to every city I went, what their opinion on foreigners was, right? And a lot of the Japanese in the bigger cities, they said they didn't like foreigners very much. But I asked my one friend that too. He said he didn't like foreigners very much, but he said he really liked me. So
Thank you for improving our national image one person at a time. Very good impression of this kid. My question is, how long did it take you, or are you still in the process of adapting to being back in the US? And what's the hardest thing about that re-entry?
I'm still a little bit, the hardest thing is I like to bow still. You'll see me bow. But, and also the one time my mom, she woke me up and I started speaking Japanese to her because I was still half asleep. That's pretty funny, but I'm fairly adapted. it's just, it's kind of hard. It's like the reverse of what happened when I went there.
Yes, thank you for representing us in Japan. I was wondering about culture shock when you first got there, and I was noticing in your pictures of the Rotarians that I didn't see a lot of women. Was that your experience?
Yes, so in our Rotary Club, there wasn't a whole lot of women. There was maybe one or two in our entire Rotary Club. And I'm not sure if that's just the culture there or exactly what, but my general impression, it was still really good. And then the culture shock, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I did a lot of research before I went, and I think that definitely helped quite a lot. The biggest thing was definitely the language. I didn't understand the language very well. I knew like 3 words, so it was great.
Were you able to participate in any sports?
Yes, so I was part of the badminton club, and we did that about 6 days a week, and it was normally 2 to 4 hours every day after school. So I would normally, with my one host family, they lived out of town. So I'd take the bus back. I wouldn't get back to their house till sometimes 10 at night. But it was fun. It kept me busy. Uh, and then with my host families, I would always go out sometimes on the weekends and I would play some badminton with them as well.
What are your future plans, Robert?
I plan to go to college. I'm not sure exactly which college I wish to attend, but I would like to maybe do an engineering program somewhere.
Thanks for that presentation. Just wondering, in general, what would you want Americans to know about Japanese culture that you don't think they know now?
I would say maybe how nice they are. They were like, I was kind of surprised. I feel some Americans are kind of a little rough around the edges sometimes, but I think all of the Japanese were extremely kind to me. And I was very surprised how fast I made friends there, actually. I kind of, within my first day being there, I already had a small group of friends, which was really nice.
Robert, welcome back. You mentioned the friends that you made there. Here in Ohio, we see there's been a lot of population leaving Ohio and moving to states that are growing much more rapidly. I'm wondering, your friends in Japan, what do they plan for their futures? Because where you work is not a heavily populated part of Japan.
Well, I know my best friend in Japan, his name's Yoshito. He plans on going to Sapporo University. I believe he said he wants to go there to be a doctor, which is really cool. And then he plans on doing that or either starting a restaurant in town, actually. And I'm not sure exactly on the plans of like all of my other friends, but I haven't really heard anybody talk about wanting to move away. It's such a pretty town there, honestly. It's right on the ocean and it's very, very nice.
So first of all, you're very brave, by the way, to go there. I mean, not to know how to communicate, that's outstanding. It says a lot about your character you brought up. Thanks for the presentation. I guess I'm curious, like, what were the things they were most interested to find out about you? Two or three things.
There's a lot of questions about like where I was from and a lot about the school actually, like how school was kind of set up here. And I don't know a whole lot about that because I'm homeschooled. So I answered those to the best of my knowledge. And one of the things they were really surprised about is I had a driver's license. They can't drive until they're 18. So they were very surprised that I was allowed to drive. No, you're not allowed to travel.
Robert, since you were homeschooled, can you contrast the difference between going to a regular school when you got there as opposed to being homeschooled when you were here?
Yes, so of course, homeschool, you're at home, right? But I feel I I thought I might have had a harder time sitting there for however long it was. I think it's 7 or 8 hours. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember. I thought I might have had a harder time with it, but I had lots of friends, and that definitely made it a lot easier. And then other than that, the biggest difference was that I couldn't really understand much because of the language barrier.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very
Robert.
much.
Yep. Actually, I do have a question, Robert. Obviously in Worcester, Ohio, you don't hear a lot of people speaking Japanese. What about English over there? Did you hear any English or was it 100% Japanese?
So,
Yeah, come on up. Sorry.
some of them spoke a little bit of English. Those who spoke English, their English wasn't very great, and then most of them just didn't speak English at all. It was, they knew like a couple of words here and there, but it wasn't as big of a deal as I thought it would be because we could still communicate like other ways. And then of course I learned some Japanese as well.
Okay. Thank you. Well, before you sit down, in appreciation of your time with us today, we present you with this rendition of the rotary wheel with the 4-way test on the back, all in English. The students, this was made by the students at the Village Network, and it's made locally.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Yeah. Okay, next week, Dee Valier is hosting the program Round and Round We Go, the story behind Worcester's roundabouts, a topic that there's some very passionate opinions about. So looking forward to that. And with that, we stand adjourned. Thank you.